In this tutorial, I'm going to take you through my process of designing a fantasy book cover. All you need is an iPad and Procreate, and I will be using one of my brush sets to design this. So let's get started. Let's create a new file, and this will be an ebook size, 1600 by 2560. Let's make the background black. Much easier to see on here anyhow. Okay. Let's go ahead and add in the title. Crown of the Wolf King. And I'm going to turn on the drawing guides just so I know everything is centered. Let's make that white. Let's go ahead and change the font to something more fantasy. For this, I'm going to use a font called Moonique, and I will go ahead and leave a link to that in the comments below. So let's go ahead and adjust the size and the leading. We'll squeeze that in a little tighter. And I'm going to reduce the size of the and we'll tighten that up. Okay, it looks good. Let's position it toward the bottom. Good. And I always like to add the title first. I think it's easier to position the rest of the design elements when the title's already there. Let's go ahead and add some of the design elements. I'm going to use my fantasy brush set, and I will leave a link in the comments for that one as well. The main focal point on this is going to be a wolf. So we will scroll down, find the wolf head. All the stamps in this brush set are hand-drawn. There is absolutely no AI in any of my brush sets. So we're going to position this so it overlaps the title slightly. And darken it just a bit. We'll set it beneath the title. Now what I want to do is add a symmetry layer. So I will go into my drawing guides and edit, and I'm going to select symmetry, options, and quadrant. So everything looks the same on all four sides of the cover. And we're going to add some kind of a flourish element to this. So we'll find just the right flourish for the corners. I love flourishes because they just lend this elegance to the design structure, and it just gives it that extra touch of class. Okay, there's one I'm looking for. What is it? Here it is. And I'll try to position this element just right. Perfect. I like that. That looks good. Okay. And we'll add in colors and shading in a little bit. Now, let's add the author name. Shrink that down. Okay. And we'll position that right above the wolf head. I left just enough room. Good. Now I think I want to apply some kind of a glow behind the wolf. So just so it punches out and it provides that focal point. So we're going to draw a circle. I'm going to put one finger down to turn it into a true circle. Fill it. And then I'll blur it with a Gaussian blur. So I'm just gonna blur it a little bit. That looks good. I'll stretch it out a tiny bit and lessen the brightness. I'm going to play around with this. Change the hue slightly. Kind of gives the wolf face a, I don't know, sort of a wicked glow. I'll put a couple of jewels on his forehead just to make it punch out. Not too much. Now I'm going to go back to the corner layer and apply an alpha lock. And I'm going to give these flourishes a little color, just so it ties in with the wolf head. Okay, I think I'm going to play around with this color position till it looks just right. Another way you can do this is to apply a clipping mask just above the layer you want to adjust. We'll try it this way. And as you can see, when I apply color to one corner, it applies to the rest of them. That's what I like about the symmetry option. It saves time and it's consistent. Okay, now I'm going to apply a clipping mask to the wolf head and just darken up the bottom so the title's easier to read. Not much. Okay, now let's apply some blending to the title. And again, I'll put on a clipping mask, tying in that turquoise color with an airbrush tool. So I'm just so slightly applying a gradation. I'm just applying some very subtle highlights to the wolf head with a pure white, just so it sharpens the image. And now, kind of as a finishing touch, I like to apply just a very subtle background pattern. I just feel that it lends depth to the whole image and kind of just gives it a more sophisticated look. So for this, I'm going to use a pattern from my Portraits brush set, and this is completely optional, but I just thought it would be fun to show how it's done. What I'll do is I'll apply this pattern. It's a seamless pattern to cover the entire cover. Like so. Then I'm going to take the opacity way down to maybe 10 or 11%. Just so it's, you know, it's there, but it doesn't overpower the design itself. It just kind of enhances it. Okay. I think that we are done. I think it looks good. And I will show you the finished cover. What do you think?